YouTubers, resellers, and thrifters. My name is Carrie. My channel here on YouTube is Be Carried Away. Thank you so much for finding me. I am a reseller, meaning that I go to thrift stores, estate sales, garage sales, and the like, looking for items that are undervalued to flip online for a profit. I primarily use eBay, also Poshmark, Mercari, and Facebook Marketplace. I've been selling about 20 years or so, off and on, and I'm sometimes part-time and sometimes I am full-time. So I'm going to take you today in on a thrift haul. I'm passing through the Pocono Mountains. I'm delivering a vehicle to my stepson. It was getting some work done up near where we live, and so I'm passing through the Poconos on my way down to deliver the vehicle, and thought I would stop and do a little bit of thrifting. So there's always a way to squeeze it in, even in between tasks and errands and things like that. So I have about an hour to an hour and a half to spend. I'm gonna get some lunch. I'll spend probably about an hour here thrifting. I have been to this thrift store before, so if you're a regular to my channel, thank you so much for coming back. And you probably recognize this thrift store as the one in the Poconos that I would stop at occasionally when I was passing through back and forth when Mike was working in New Jersey as a travel nurse. So I have been here about 4 or 5 times, so it's not brand new to me. I kind of know where to look for the items that I'm gonna focus on today. I do like hard goods. I also do clothing. I like high-end clothing and vintage clothing, kind of unique one-off sorts of clothes. So let's go in and see what we can find. I'm going to take you in with me and we'll do a little thrifting on a really hot, humid day. It's not a bad day to be inside in the AC here in the Poconos. See you soon. I'm heading in the back entrance. There's a big sign about not stealing items, and that's because people drop stuff off back there, and it's sort of an isolated spot. But so I head in and I really don't have a plan. I know that I've got about an hour. I just want to kind of look around. This store is always packed every time I've been in here, and so I'm kind of just gonna kind of float around and see what I see. So I have been trying to get into and learn more about plush. It's right inside the door, and so I do take a look at a couple of these pieces. Now with plush, I do have to comp basically pretty much everything. So I'm not going to pick up every piece. I'm going to look at things that kind of jump out at me. Maybe vintage, maybe something popular. I do see this really unique looking kitty cat, and it's only $2.99, and I know that animatronic pieces can be worth money, so I decided to just toss that in my cart and comp it. I don't know much about it when I put it in there, but I think that it's worth taking a look at the comps. So what I'll do is load my cart up with items, and then towards the end I'll start doing comps. This is my I guess one of my, you would say, weaknesses, which is artwork, and that's just because I love it. I love to pick it up, but it's really hard to ship, and I oftentimes kind of hold off on listing it. So I don't even have a cart yet. I've just walked in the back door, and I'm kind of just taking a peek at anything that catches my interest. There's some beautiful wooden. Aspire is a good brand for these kind of percussion pieces. These were marked really high, $29.99 for that one. So I just decided to kind of take a peek. They're in great condition, and I know the brand Aspire is a good one. Not something I'm going to pick up for resale because of the high price on those. A beautiful, beautiful enamelware pot, but I decided that I really just need to go get a cart and kind of go more systematically. So now I've got my cart, and I'm going to kind of go through the rows one by one and take a look. Again, this store is just packed. Some beautiful American Limoges pieces. Now at this store, unfortunately, they price all of their china pieces individually. So that one plate is $3.99. And by the time you add up, you know, a set or something like that, it's just not something I probably would purchase at this store based on their pricing strategy. Some Marine Corps items I'm always going to look at. Mike's a Marine, and so you know, that kind of stuff always catches my eye, but this was just mass produced mugs. So many figurines, it's just overwhelming. I pick up a couple to look at, but I'm really not, this is not my forte, and so, I'd really have to comp a lot of things, and I just don't have the time to do that. So I only pick up a few pieces here to take a peek at. I'm not really sure what that was. I didn't comp it. Now, I do see these old Russ Berry pieces. These were from the 1970s. I'm sure we're all familiar with them. I do comp a couple. I'm not sure what the going rate is for them, but I find out that only, they were asking $2.99 and $3.99, and that's really pretty high for what they go for. This entire grouping went for $95, but you really need to know what you're looking for. The only one in my estimation that came across as kind of a bolo was this Sue the Bastard lawyer figurine, which goes for about $28, but I didn't see it there in that grouping, and so I passed over all of those. Looking through the glassware, just, again, so much great stuff. I'm sure I'm passing over. I don't pick up milk glass, but this was a footed bowl, and so I just kind of took a peek at it with that beautiful grapevine. Milk glass is popular, but it's the kind of thing that people mostly pick it up at thrift stores themselves. It really doesn't have a high resale value online, except for certain pieces. Again, lots of milk glass, but not something for resale. So I decide that I want to go over and look for smalls. I'm traveling here, and I don't want to load up the vehicle with lots of stuff. I decide that my strategy is going to be, let's see what's small and potentially sellable. So this little fur vintage looking Inuit looked interesting, and I did put that in the cart to comp it. And I'm just kind of going through all of these smalls. This was a really beautiful hand-painted trinket dish. Now, I did look that up, and that was created by a group of nuns at a monastery that makes their living through hand-painting china. The issue with that particular piece was, and I probably would have picked it up, is that it's just not very searchable. So there were just a few pieces listed, and it wasn't worth it. This was a really beautiful hand-painted Mexican artware piece, but it's a bird, and I don't think I have the camera high enough to show the beak of the bird, but it had a large chip in the foot, so that wasn't something that I could pick up. Some fruit, that was just some resin, not worth picking up, not vintage. I do look at this. I do like to look at religious wear, and so I do pick. Oh, I dropped that, but I didn't break it. It was just resin. So this was $10, and it was a piece of, kind of hand painted. There's the Telltale TJ Maxx sticker on that one, so that could fake somebody out if it didn't have the sticker on there. I thought it was well painted, and it had a southwestern motif. This is Eric Stauffer. So this is a well-known designer of figurines, and I do put that in the cart. I don't get it because there was a chip in the tail of the bluebird. It was a tiny, tiny chip, but unfortunately, I didn't get it. That's probably why it was priced at $1.99. If it hadn't been chipped, I would have picked that up. This was just resin. It was not chalkware, so I did not pick that up. Now here's a piece of what's called lusterware. This is marked on bottom, Czechoslovakia. This is a peach color lusterware with an Art Deco design. I do put that in the cart, but I end up not getting that. I do comps on that, and there are lots of those little vases, and I don't pick them up. It kind of only went for just about $10 or so. This I pick up because I know the pattern, and this is called Baroque. by Vera Bradley, and it's a really, really pretty Christmas ornament. I don't think that I knew that Vera Bradley did Christmas ornaments, so I generally do pick up Vera Bradley. A lot of resellers don't like Vera Bradley. I'm selective with what I do pick up, but I've done really well with a variety of different pieces, and I do want to put that in the cart and probably comp it. They only wanted $2.99 for it, so I'm going to take a look at that and see how well those sell. This picture, oh, I still don't know if I should have gotten this. They wanted $6.99 for it. I felt that was high because I wasn't sure how searchable that was going to be. I feel the edge, that's a really important part of any picture like that, is to feel the edge of the pour spout. Oftentimes those get chipped, and it was beautifully painted. I loved the white color. I just didn't know how I would list it. I wasn't sure if it was quite gay fad, if I would list it as vintage kitchen. Just wasn't sure. Now this ceramic San Francisco cable car music box I do put in the cart. I want to comp that. I thought I would probably get that, but it did not comp out well. Listed, and they were not selling. I think one sold for maybe $18 or so. So for what they wanted for that, $5.99 I think it was, not something that's going to be a pickup. Again, I'm looking at smalls, a lot of kind of little doll figurines. This I thought maybe was Jasperware, but it was sort of a fake Jasperware. This is a modern version of A Christmas Story, the iconic leg lamp. This I pick up, turn it over, and it says 2225 on it. I put it in the cart because there's another one over there, and a pair of those I thought would be worth comping, but unfortunately that had a pretty good crack in one of them, so they immediately go right back on the shelf. Now 2225 is a brand that is worth comping. It's popular, and people love it. Some really beautiful patterns. I do reach down and pick this up. I thought maybe this might be vintage, but it looks like maybe it was just kind of a homemade craft item or something, so I put that back down. Okay, here's my one regret. I wish I had picked this up. They only wanted $9.99 for this. This is a 1950s dollhouse. I kind of tapped it when I first saw it. I thought it was tin, one of those tin painted dollhouses. But this turned out to be a 1950s made in Boston wooden dollhouse. And these do sell really well, even in relatively poor condition. So I should have picked that up. I think at the time I was looking at it, I thought I would go back, but I ended up heading upstairs to the clothes, and I never went back and got that. So I didn't really want to spend a lot of time on clothes today. It's upstairs. It was kind of hot up there. It was on the second floor. And ironically, I ended up going through the coats. There were a couple coats right at the end that I was interested in looking at, and I just kept on going through the rack. So you'll see that I'm looking at the tags. White is half price. So what I generally do with coats and clothing, I'm going to look first at the brand. It's just the number one most important thing. I don't pick up just on style. Here's a mod-made coat. This is definitely vintage. They want $9.99 for it, so I'm going to very carefully look it over and see condition because of the high price. I'm going to put that in the cart and comp it and take a closer look at it. So that goes in the cart. And I keep going through the coats. I find this really, really sharp looking jacket, blazer, sort of moto jacket, and I put that in the cart because the brand is Armani, and I decide that it's a high enough end brand that I want to look at the comps and see what I might get for that. So again, first look at the tag, the brand, and then style. So that being said, I can just sort of whip through the tops of the hangers. Fun to do. So let's just jump right in. So the first item that I picked up yesterday in the Poconos was this plush. And if you've seen other videos, you see I kind of have started to get into plush a little bit. I didn't take too much time to look at the plush yesterday, but this just, you know, it jumps right out at you. And in fact, I had two people who saw this in my cart who wanted to take a look at it. It's just so unusual and cute. Now this is an animatronic plush, and it was only sold by Walmart, but the online comps, others were being sold for in the $50 range. There are no sold, but I still decided to take a chance simply because it was only $2.99. One reason there might not be any sold is that the solds only show for the past 3 months, and so on eBay. And so because this is a Christmassy item, it may be something that will sell closer to Christmas. So for $2.99, I'm certainly going to get my money back on this. And she is called Sassy Kitty. She sings Santa Baby, and I believe that it's Marilyn Monroe's voice singing this, at least from the comps that I looked up. So fun item. I'll be testing this shortly, and looks to be in good condition, so I think I did really well with this. And I'll probably list this lower than the other ones that I see, but they're listing in the high 40s, $50 range, so I'll probably list this for about $45 to $50. Next is something I also picked up yesterday. This is Vera Bradley, and if you know your Vera Bradley patterns, you're going to recognize this right away. If you don't, you can always look at the little extras. Usually have the Vera Bradley logo on them, as this button does. And I'm trying to think if there's anywhere else that it says Vera Bradley on here. I don't think on this one it does. Now on the bags and other items, you'll see it in a lot of places, but it's really only on the button on this one. But this pattern is easily searched by doing a Google search. I think that's the easiest way to Google search for Vera Bradley patterns. This one is not currently listed. I don't see any other Christmas bulbs in this pattern. The pattern name is Baroque, and I don't see any others listed, so I thought it was worth taking a chance. I paid $2.99 for this. They don't sell really particularly high for the ornaments, but it's so pretty. I thought, you know, if it doesn't sell, I'll certainly keep this. It's really worth, you know, worth $3 pickup. So that was item number 2. Item number 3 you saw on the shelf. Now I was kind of looking for smalls, as I said, and this is a nice light little small, and this is what looks to be a handmade doll, Inuit, Alaskan native group, and this was only $1.99, so I don't know how much this will go for, but I was able to comp similar, or at least look at similar other pieces, and they ranged from, you know, $15 to $25, so I'll probably list this somewhere in that range. And really good condition. This is real fur and probably handmade. So cute little piece. I'll use keywords like Inuit, native, Alaska, Alaskan, fur, and maybe folk art or handmade. Okay, let's see, where should I go from here? Okay, fun item. Now, another item that I really wasn't able to comp. I think you saw me pick this up, or at least look at this in the store in the Poconos. This was $4.99, sold as is, brand new in the box. So once I did open this, I was able to see it still had all of its packaging, and still has all of its plastic pieces on it. These were listing for a really wide range, maybe like $25 to $55 for different styles. And I thought, because this is a little boom box, it's really kind of retro and cute. It's not super vintage. I mean, it's from JCPenney and it has the barcode, but it's probably maybe 80s or 90s, and it's worth a chance for $4.99. So I'm gonna go high with this, probably $50 to $60 or so, and we'll see where I go. See where it comes out. So for $4.99, it's worth taking a chance when it's brand new like that, in package, and of course that will be tested as well. Next piece I paid up for. This is really paying up for me. This is $10, $9.99. My Honey Pot home thrift store would probably list this at $3.99 or $4.99. So to pay $10 is a lot, but it's a really special piece. Doesn't go for a super amount of money. They're somewhat fairly common, but this is in really, really good condition. You can see how shiny that is. Very few scratches on it. Has the lid. I did untape it and make sure that there were no chips at all. So in order to pay up for a piece of vintage Pyrex, really condition is what it's all about. Collectors of Pyrex are looking for really good condition pieces, and not just no chips, but that shine that you see on there. So it means that it was not put in the dishwasher. A lot of them get that really scruffy, rough kind of look to them, and that just means that somebody probably washed it a little too harshly in the dishwasher. So this is the retro daisy pattern in orange, and I do have another orange piece that I might lot this with. I do come across Pyrex fairly often, being in upstate New York. It was made in Corning, New York, and so at the Corning Glass Museum it was developed, and so I do find some Pyrex pretty regularly, and again, it's all about condition. I think I'll probably list this one between $25 and $35, which is about what they were going for in this particular pattern. This is the also on Pyrex, and probably most of you know this, but you can look on the bottom. It's great to resell because it has all the pertinent information on the bottom that you need in terms of the size and the model number. So this is the 1.5 quart, and it's the number 043, so number 43 in this pattern. So it's really easy to list in terms of making sure that you have all of the information that you need. So another piece of kitchenware is this. Ew, okay, what's that? Some fur, something on there. Must have been where it was set. This is aluminum, so it's pretty lightweight. It was only $1.99, and unlike the Pyrex, it doesn't have a lot of markings on it, but it does have some. And this vintage aluminum is highly collectible. So it was an unusual piece. It had the lid. The handle is actually wooden, so to me that says that this is a vintage piece. It has the wooden knob on top, and so I'm going to do a little bit more research on this to see how much I'm going to list it for, but at $1.99, this is definitely a pickup. And I am able to see on the bottom here that this is cooking utensils, aluminum, household, it's international household or something like that. I'll put a link up here in the video because I was able to look up the particular brand. And on this one, it's missing, but sometimes if you just have, you know, parts of a word or a little piece of a word, you're able to look that up. So sticking more with hard goods here, this is another piece that was absolutely a pickup because of the price, 49 cents. Look at this beautiful glass. Now this has a sticker on it, so how much more easy can it get? So I'm able to understand the type of glass, which is it's handmade in Israel by Andreas Meyer. I was able to Google all of this. He doesn't have a lot of sold pieces, but I think using keywords, you know, here's a piece where if you just list this as Nahariya glass. Now Nahariya is a town in Israel known for glass and glass making, and Andreas Meyer is the maker. I was able to Google all of this and find this out. Someone who might want this piece may not know Nahariya glass, and they may not know Andreas Meyer, but they might see this and say, well, this is made in Israel. I love the blue color. I love the glass. I love the holiday theme, and whether this is, you know, Hanukkah or not, it's really kind of a beautiful, it's just a beautiful, beautiful art piece. So I'm going to use all of those keywords. I'm not going to rely on the fact that someone is going to be Googling or eBay searching Andreas Meyer Nahariya glass. That may not get you a sale. So your sale might come from someone who's never heard of Andreas Meyer necessarily, but would be attracted to the piece because of its color, its design, and its history. So I'm definitely going to put some detail in there as to where this came from, all that stuff that I was able to Google, the town, the Nahariya glass. So it's more akin to someone who's traveling there, maybe, you know, stops in a shop. Maybe they don't know Andreas Meyer, but they see it in the shop and they say, boy, this would be a really great piece to have in my home, to have as a souvenir, that kind of thing. So it's almost a similar sort of thought process when you're thinking about what you're going to put in for keywords. So don't rely on just sure, it has all the basics here. You could just pop that in there, but you're really going to limit the number of people who are able to find your item if you do it that way. So I think I'm going to list this for about $25, and at a 49-cent buy-in, absolutely a pickup. Okay, carefully set that over there. So this is a little wallet clutch. So I found this in the bag section, and there's always a little wallet kind of section. So for 99 cents, this is in great condition. And this is something that's sort of a novelty print. If you've seen in my local thrift store lately, I have a couple shorts. There's a resident, he's not actually a parrot, but he's a macaw that's been coming in with one of the regular shoppers there. So apparently my Salvation Army is somewhat pet friendly. It's a wild and free, you know, pet. It's not strapped in or anything. He just kind of sits on the cart. So maybe that's kind of been on my mind lately, but I just thought what a beautiful kind of glittery, I think it might be even a passport cover perhaps, but I was able to look up this brand, and the brand is called And Other Stories. So for 99 cents, I'll probably list this at about $15 or so, and it's going to be easy to ship and just a kind of a little bread and butter fun novelty print. Okay, I'm going to move into some of my clothing. I've got some great Bolo vintage pieces here. I'm super excited. This first one is amazing. So I'm going to put the photos up here. It's hard to show clothing sometimes. I'll put the photo of this on the hanging mannequin that I have now. When I talk about vintage clothing in a lot of my videos, I say it really doesn't matter so much about brand with vintage. You can get away with non-branded or unknown brands if it's a really cool vintage piece. But it goes the other way. If you have a really cool vintage piece and you have a well-known pattern, or well-known brand, then you definitely can command more money for your piece. And this is one of those brands. So this is an awesome find. I paid $3.99 for this dress. So this is Park East by Swirl. Swirl is a well-known vintage designer brand, and I've picked that up before. Super happy with this gorgeous dress. This is what's known as a shift dress, so it just kind of hangs sort of straight, has pockets, sleeveless, zipper back, and this really cool rounded neck, straight out of the 60s. Awesome color pattern, great condition. For $3.99, super psyched. And the comps on similar style dresses from Park East by Swirl are really, really good. So I'm estimating a profit of about $75 profit on this. So I'm going to list this around $100, upwards of $100 to start, and then we'll go from there. So really cool vintage 60s mod dress. Another awesome bolo. This one just kind of jumped out at me. I was not searching through the robes that day, and this is not from the Poconos. This is from my local store, my local Salvation Army thrift store. This is new with tags. You're gonna see the picture up here. Vintage kimono, black, hand embroidered silk kimono robe. Look at that embroidery. It's absolutely stunning. And this is new old stock, so NOS, or new old stock, meaning that it's vintage, but it was never used, still has the tags on it, also known as dead stock. So those are good terms to put in your title. This is 100% silk, hand embroidered, size medium, has the belt, and it's a well-known brand. So it hits all those marks. So for that reason, I'm gonna ask upwards of $100 of this item as well. The brand is Golden Dragon. So if you look at comps for Golden Dragon silk vintage kimono items, even without being new with tags, they get $75, $80, $100 and up. So this being new with tags, this is one of those finds you might not realize it at the time when you're in the thrift store, and then you get home and you look at the comps in more detail, and you're just like, yes. Okay, same with this next piece. Super fun vintage. This was laying over on the books. Like, you just never know where you're gonna find something. Somebody clearly had looked at this item, and just put it back, and they didn't bother to put it back where it was supposed to be with the bags. It was laying on top of the bookshelf. So Gorgeous lily pattern, clearly vintage, I thought when I first looked at it. And when you pick it up, it feels really, really light cotton. And when you look inside, then you can really see that this is true vintage. Has that old vintage tag, has that sort of silk interior or satiny interior with the old zipper and the tag. So I was able to look up this maker, Margaret Smith of Gardner, Maine, and she is a sought after vintage designer of floral handbags. So this probably would go for maybe between $20 and $30. Because it has lilies on it, they're very popular, so that will be a keyword that I'll use, and I think I might get maybe towards the higher end of that scale because of the particular flowers that are on this bag. Great condition, definitely pick up. I took the sticker out, but I paid $2.99 for this, and I found it on the bookshelf, so you never know where you're gonna find your best items. Okay, moving along, I have a beautiful dress that's also going to be up here because it's going to be really hard to show you. This is a very long jumper dress. These are super, super on trend right now and popular. Cottage core, that's a great keyword for this. Just has that kind of homey, farm, country look to it. It has the pocket in the front, a pocket on the side. This is by a brand called Citrone, and the tag's been taken off of this. You can actually see where it was ripped off. I purchased it anyway because I was able to find this tiny little logo tag on the outside, and using that logo tag, I was able to see that this was Citrone of Santa Monica, which is a well-known brand, sought after, and so with measurements, I'm going to be able to determine the size. Now, one thing that I cannot tell because it's been torn off is the fabric. A lot of these were made of silk. I'm assuming this is some sort of silk, maybe blend, possibly rayon, but this is a high-end brand, and I really wish I had the tag for that reason so the buyer would know, but it's really soft and silky, and I'm thinking it's probably silk. So I'll put those things in the title, you know, a question mark, and definitely explain that the tag's been taken off. And so, you know, if fabric is really, really important to the buyer, they probably won't buy it if they don't know for sure, but I'm going to describe it and be as descriptive as I can. So this kind of slate blue with this floral pattern, perfectly on trend, beautiful. This was marked $7.99 and I got this for half price, so I paid $4 for this. And because it's so on trend, because it's a well-known brand, I'm gonna list this for upwards of $50, maybe $50, $60, $70 and go from there. So really nice pickup with that. Okay, and now the next pieces are the ones that you saw me pick up yesterday in the Pocono. So I went through the coat aisle, kind of random. I didn't really plan to go on the coat aisle, but I saw a couple coats that I liked right off the bat, so I just kind of kept going down the row. This is a vintage brand called Mod Made, and you can see the photo of the full coat up here. I did pay up for this. I paid $9.99 for this, so that, for me, that's paying up. Usually I would kind of get that on half price day, maybe something that had been marked $9.99, I'd get it for $5, but it was really cool. It's upcoming season for the fall. The colors are great. The brand Mod Made is great. Beautiful condition, and so I decided to pay up. I'll probably list this for $45 to $55 and still make a profit. I wish it was a little bit less expensive, but it's a nice piece and it will draw people in to take a look at it because it's vintage. Now, I really paid up for this one. Kind of unusual for me to do that, but I paid $14.99 for a clothing item. That's super unusual for me, but I really, really like it, and it's a great brand. So Giorgio Armani, in a size 2, made in Italy, and it's just, as you can see, an absolutely beautiful condition, and it's really on trend. It's a short, not quite cropped, but short, somewhat moto. It's an edgy kind of modern style. It has this really pretty ruffle collar, and the condition is absolutely like new. So I did comp this right in the store, and I saw that these range from, you know, $25, $30, way up to $70, $75, $80. I'm gonna go on the high end with this just because I think the condition is great, the color's great. it's on trend and it's upcoming for the season. So I'm gonna start it high and see where we go. But that's definitely a pay up for me, which is something that, you know, as an established reseller, you know, I don't do it a lot, but I feel like I can get away with it once in a while with a nice high-end brand like Armani. It's fun to have it in your closet or in your store. So we'll see where I go with that. Definitely won't lose any money with it, so it's worth the pickup. This you saw me go through. I almost just kind of glossed this over. I just saw the corner of all of these kind of fleece jackets, and they didn't look like anything too special. I was almost gonna whip through them, and I just happened to see the tag, got a quick glance at the tag. It's LL Bean, and I love to pick up LL Bean. It's a great color, and it's a great size. Again, upcoming for the fall season. It was half price, it's women's large, and I only paid $4 for this. Now, if I got this at a garage sale, I'd probably pay $1 for it, maybe. You know, it was a quick and easy find. It'll be easy to ship, so paying $4, I'll probably list this in the $25 to $35 range. Probably get the lower end of that, but it's a great, solid bread and butter piece. Fun pickup. And last but not least, local to the area, also a white tag, which was half price, so I only paid $3 for this. This is Harley Davidson, and this is a men's 2X, so as we know, men's larger sizes sell really well. It has the spell out. This is called a spell out down the arm, Harley Davidson. It's a Christmas theme, so unusual in that sense, but it's local to where I was. I picked it up in the Poconos, and this is Pocono Mountain Harley Davidson, so I think that would be fun for anybody who's traveled through there or spends holidays there, that sort of thing. And it has this, you know, the skull with the crossbones as peppermint sticks, so kind of fun. Great size, great price, excellent condition, and an easy pickup. So that's it. So I feel like that under $100 is definitely going to bring me close to about $1,000 worth of profit, and that's what makes selling online, you know, not only profitable but fun. So thank you so much for watching the video, and I hope you got some tips and ideas on things to pick up, things not to pick up, and that you'll check out my other videos as well as the upcoming videos. So happy thrifting, everybody, and good luck out there. Bye.